Welcome to Volley in the Valley, live from 3 separate studios, as is required. Episode 7, Mitch? 7?
Is that what we're on? Is it
I think
7
so.
now? I think seven sounds about right.
Doug Flutie's number. That's a heck of a number. And we want to shout out our presenting sponsor, Jeff Osborne, still in these crazy times. Obviously, really tough times for a lot of people. And then also other people are still kind of in the midst of the best months to buy a house of the whole year. And so Jeff is still working, and there are still people that are looking and moving and buying houses. And we wanted to shout him out for his support.
Yeah, if you're one of those people that's looking to move, buy a new house, sell your house, give Jeff a shout, and he'll help you out.
Yeah,
that rhymed.
He's the man. So last night we did a watch party on our Facebook page, streamed a couple of videos. Nate, what'd you think of that?
I really enjoyed that. As someone who hasn't played outdoor doubles, it's always good to hear the people that are kind of on the inside talk about, the things, the little secrets of the game. There was some banter with a couple of our active members, which is always fun. And it was kind of like we were all just hanging out together, watching volleyball on TV, which is awesome. Again, I'd love to be able to do this more, especially with games that we record. So we're hoping to do that in the summer. Maybe have like the game of the week, and be able to kind of review it so that everybody can kind of see what everyone's thinking in there. It was fun though. I really had a good time.
It was.
And I mean, the guys and girls that we were watching are some of the best players in the world. And I mean, we had after the first match, we had matches with 3 of the men's teams that are going for the Olympics right now. Then we had a ladies match of women that were going for the Olympics. I just thought it was really cool to just sit and listen to all that. It was and watch, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way different when you watch it with other people commenting at the same time than if you just rewatch it on your own. And most of those comments are still up. And if you go back and rewatch the watch party, you can comment still. I think you probably comment still, and you can read what everyone was talking about in the moment. So
yeah.
And we may try to do that again next week too. Just try to find a time that we can all do it, and maybe throw in some snow volleyball trips.
Yes.
The Kibben brothers have some of that. There's some quads videos out there that we can find and put out there for to help people watch that kind of stuff. So
I'd really since we're running quads, I'm really trying to find Facebook for everyone else who's listening at home, all of our thousands of viewers. Facebook's kind of weird about what you can put on and what you can't. So we want to find a good quads video of grass, because that's what A-League's playing this year. So
I think that would be really helpful for people who are a little bit hesitant about the mechanics of playing quads and who can hit and who can't, and the rotations and whatnot. And I for one have not played enough quads to know like what the rules are about back row and kind of the logistics of positioning. So I think that would be really helpful to break down.
One thing I like about quads is that there are a few different strategies you can pull off. Usually you don't designate anybody as back row, so everybody can hit at all times, but it's fun trying to figure out, are we going to block? Are we going to use 2 blockers here? Are we going to use 1? Yeah. Are we going to peel that opposite blocker if they don't block? Are we going to have them try for a double block? It's pretty cool strategically. It's fun.
Yeah.
And speaking of the league, just a quick request to all of our members. So registration is up. If you're planning to play, please get your team registered. There's no deposit right now. But also be reaching out to other people within the volley community that are either wanting to play or whether you want them on their team or not. See if they've gotten registered yet. Just because once we get out of this thing, and Nate's going to provide an update on that real quick, but once we get out of this thing, we're going to go right into the season. So there's not going to be a whole lot of time in between to register teams and try to make phone calls and that kind of stuff. So during this time that you have, definitely be talking to people, seeing who you're going to want for your team. I mean, we've got all kinds of leagues coming up this summer, so definitely be doing that and reaching out to people.
One cool thing I think – sorry, Nate, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there was I was getting ready to segue. Didn't mean to segue over you, Jack.
That's okay. I got something to add here. That's all right.
We had a lot of good news this week, and things are looking as good as they possibly can. But that doesn't mean that we're gonna magically flip the switch out of this. So we definitely, like Mitch said, want to be able to hit the ground running, and not having all of these people come in at the end and be like, oh, I didn't know registration was going to close. That's just not helpful when we're trying to get registration done.
Yeah.
Build TPs, get TPs stood up, we've got a lot of logistics to get through. So we really wanted to front load the registration. And if you register and you can't play, we're gonna make sure that everybody commits at the end. And if you can't end up not being able to play, it's okay. We'll just take you off the list. Yeah. But getting like a preliminary list is really important. And we wait around till the very end to get registered, mostly because there's that little financial part of it. And we were hoping that lifting the deposit it takes the pressure off. So I don't think we're going to get mad at you if you register and then have to bail at the end. We just want to get a good list so that we can hit the ground running.
100%.
One thing on that last point is I think a lot of people, I've talked to people from college and people from high school that I don't keep in good contact with as much anymore. And I think a lot of people are using this time to sort of catch up with people. Yeah. And it's been awesome, actually. It's been one of the best parts of this. But maybe you got some people around here that you haven't talked to as much, and you throw a C League team in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Coworkers, I texted them asking if they wanted to run it back. You may have heard on previous episodes that we made a C team, and we were in last place. We were having fun. We were getting better. They were all in for the summer. They can't wait. So maybe that's an idea for people. As far as what we're offering this summer and what you can sign up for, and I'm going to also talk a little bit about schedule, but all of the schedule stuff, disclaimer right at the start, disclaimer, all of that's really fluid.
Yes.
Double headers. We may need extra nights. I mean, it just depends on when we can get started. But we have A quads, which is going to be 2 guys and 2 girls on the court at all times. People have been asking what the breakdown is there. If we have our druthers, I didn't expect to use that word in the pod today, but if we have our choice, it's going to be Mondays and maybe double headers. We'll see. B is going to be 6s, 6s co-ed, 4 guys, 2 girls at minimum. And
3 skilled player limit on that.
3 skilled player limit, right. And that's usually one of our biggest leagues, B League over the summer. I think that's going to be fun. And the goal with all that is just to keep the skilled players, to keep things competitive, but also keep things fair and fun for everybody.
Yep.
C League, also probably Tuesdays. Could get weird, but we have a bunch of teams in C already, and C is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to
I'm looking at registration now. We got 4 teams signed up for C right now, 2 for B, 2 for A. Lots of 5 women's, 5 men's teams, and like 7 co-ed teams.
Cool.
So
people are getting in, but we could fill this thing up and, put us to work here, getting TPs ready.
Yeah.
We have a lot of teams.
100%.
Yeah. And then
the electronic scheduling now, so it's a piece of cake to get everything up and running. We don't have to sit around and drink bourbon while we do the schedule for 5 hours anymore. So.
No, we should still do a little bit more of that, But so we also, and then for doubles, we have junior doubles, which over 20 teams, I think, and probably still rolling in. They would have already started, so they're definitely getting pushed back. But juniors has always been double headers, so that will still be double headers. It'll be on Mondays or Tuesdays. Aaron and Erica do a great job of running that, so they're keeping updated on what changes they might need to make. And then we also have co-ed open and co-ed A adult doubles. So a couple different skill levels. If you're newer to doubles, you can play in A. If you're experienced and you're a higher level player, you go to open. And then we have women's and men's doubles also on Thursday nights. So you typically play 2 hours in a row if you want to play both of those.
So just throwing that out there, we have 34 juniors teams signed up, which is awesome.
Yeah.
34.
We were really hoping that number was going to be like outrageously high. And we think we caught a lot of headwind with everything that kind of transpired. So we're hoping that more will come out of the woodwork here. So make sure that if you're one of the few people that is a coach, make sure that you're distributing the information that the
Yeah,
league is still in registration for the summer session to your team to get them out there to help bolster this. From RVVA's perspective, having the juniors out there is a great way to make sure that we're utilizing the court that we're paying for. So, just spread the word as much as you can.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest area of emphasis today is we really need all of the members' help, letting people know about what the timing is going to be like. It's different than ever before. And with juniors, we've had juniors reaching out about clinics and open gyms, and we say, oh, sorry, we're an adult league, but over the summer, that's our juniors' time, and so we really want to help those juniors get better.
Definitely.
Do it than doubles. So cool. Anything else to add on that?
That's all for me.
All right. Quash the Quarantine Mania.
Oh yeah. So
Hi.
I don't know about you guys, but I have certainly been exposed to cabin fever. I've been struggling here in my house. I've been taking care of my daughter while she's off of school. I'm really, really looking forward to getting out and socializing with people.
100%.
So one of the things, and that seems to be a consistent message. So
we've got a lot of extroverted people in this league, and this is the worst possible thing that could happen for extroverted people.
Yeah, this is not something that we are equipped for. So we wanted to make sure that everybody has some light at the end of the tunnel, and one of the things that we were talking about is putting a mark in the sand about the time when we were able to come back and play, and making it like an annual remembrance event. Like, oh, you remember when RVVA couldn't play for a month and a half of the summer? And so we're going to put together a tournament right at the beginning of the season. The times to be determined, but it'll probably be like quick turn first or second weekend that we're freed from the bondage of house arrest. And it's going to be a big blowout. I'm planning on bringing out I've got a camp chef, double burner. I'm going to cook up some burgers and we're just going to have a big social, like, let's just get out and enjoy the sun for a little while.
Yeah.
That everybody makes plans to come out and just kind of, just re-enter society. And we'll probably end up making that a quads tournament to try and, bolster the quads play a little bit. We're throwing around some ideas about what the tournament's name would be. We'd love to hear from you guys about tournament ideas that commemorate the quarantine. So far, we've come up with Quash the Quarantine Quads, but we're open to suggestion. But yeah, it's just an opportunity for us to get out and rekindle our friendships with everybody.
Yeah.
That's been one of the other weird things about all of this is that people have so many plans that they've made, and you have every weekend of the summer maybe booked up with whatever, whether it's your kids' events or golf trips or whatever it is, and now kind of all of that's disappeared. And so I know that when we're back, and my girlfriend doesn't really know this yet, but I think she will soon. It's just going to be the next 4 weekends. It's just boom, volleyball. First weekend is going to be awesome. Can't wait to get everybody out there.
Yeah, you might want to call her and let her know that before you post this video.
She watches. I don't know that she watches. We'll see. I guess we'll find out.
That might be the test to see if she does watch.
We'll see. Little hidden gem in the episode.
I think we might try and put together some kind of pop-up games as well. We've been tossing around the idea of just being like, hey, it's an all call. We're going to go out to Fishburne Park and play. Whoever shows up. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that.
There's some really cool spots out there to play in Roanoke too. I mean, Sam and I went kayaking on the Roanoke River last weekend, and we put in at Green Hill Park, and it is gorgeous out there. Yeah. Gorgeous.
How's that grass looking?
It'd be fun to get everybody out there just to knock it around for a while. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, it's gonna be incredible.
All right, so good stuff to look forward to. Now let's look back for a little bit at the survey. So we did a survey towards the end of last season. Had a lot of responses. I think we had Nate, like around 50 responses.
Yeah.
Okay, 45. Oh, it's at the very top of my page if I would just read it. So there were a few questions on there. The first question was like, what is your average rate? What is your rating 1 to 5 of Countryside? That came out at 4.08 out of 5. So right at the 4 out of 5. Good there. New balls average rating, 4 out of 5 stars for the indoor balls. Board rating, 4.65 out of 5. So that's pretty awesome there. That's a what is the for politicians, it's your popularity rating or whatever. I think that's a pretty good rating.
Rating.
And I'd actually like to announce that I'm running for president. So
hey,
perfect time.
Hired.
Jag 2020.
So just a quick comment on that Countryside, the Countryside rating. We realized that there was a little bit of a problem with some of the cleanliness of the courts, and a lot of people that rated it lower than 4 or 5 stars made a comment about the cleanliness, and that's something that we addressed with leadership at Countryside, and they have agreed to do better. A lot of it came from tournaments that happened on Sunday morning, and there wasn't the cleanup that needed to happen before the league started. So we've got that in motion where that floor is going to be cleaned by someone other than me and Jack and Mitch. So,
and that's indicative of our relationship with Countryside in general. They love us. They're really happy to have us there. And so far, I think we've had nothing but positive interaction. So that's great.
And then, that kind of segues us to the next question that was on the survey is which gym, Countryside or Spectrum? It actually came out 73% Countryside, 27% Spectrum. So that's a positive thing for me. And then we've got a lot of comments in here that people made. Here's one of the comments, and we can talk about these as we look at them. New balls feel slightly slightly softer basketballs. Countryside costs are more, but isn't as nice as Spectrum. Nate, any comments on the cost aspect of it?
Yeah. So first of all, the balls. I know that the balls feel weird to people who are used to having the seams, and especially setters who are used to this certain grip. Those balls the new balls tend to be a little bit more durable, and it is kind of the way that most of the leagues are moving towards the newer balls.
Yeah.
We skipped the blue and yellow ones that were 2012-ish because that was a little too much. But
those were slick as snot.
Yeah, I for one really like the new balls. I think I can visually I can pick them up a little bit easier. And from what I understand, for people who can set, which is not me, the feel, once you get used to not feeling the seams the way that the old balls did, it actually does help you kind of pick up good sets a little bit easier. It also is easier to tell if the hands are good because of the way that the ball spins. So durability, the cost is the same. So we're looking long term. We're trying not to spend a lot of money on equipment that we don't need to. So that's why we moved to the balls. As far as Countryside versus Spectrum, we have to realize that we are in a new reality that is different than what we experienced at the Girl Scout complex and even the season at Spectrum as far as finances go. That was kind of an introductory rate that Spectrum gave us, and it will not be available anymore. So we all have to come to terms with the fact that those two places are competing for our business, but that business is also going to be more expensive, which is why we kind of made the decision to raise rates all around. Both of them are at about the same rate right now. So it's not that Countryside is more expensive, it's that the winter season, regardless of where we played it, was going to be more expensive than the fall. So that's just a little bit of a misnomer, but we are doing our best, obviously, to control costs and to negotiate rates for court costs. And again, one of the other comments I'm sure is about, packing the schedule and having on multiple nights. that plays into how we're trying to cut court costs for the league, is to maximize the amount of time that we are paying for a court and that is being played on. And it just is a hard balancing act right now. So we appreciate everyone's patience while we try to negotiate the best way to schedule everything.
And I mean, what a lot of people don't realize is that if we had stayed at Spectrum for that winter season this last time, rates were going to be quite a bit more.
Yeah.
And we would have had to raise even higher than what we did for team fees if we had stayed at Spectrum rather than going to Countryside for this last season. Here's a good one. I don't have a preference for where we play. My priorities are cost of the facility and time for open gym / skills clinics. I don't love that the team costs went up, but I know that's just how it goes sometimes. I appreciate the new scoreboards, though. Thanks for all you guys do. My team really enjoys the skills clinics and finds them helpful.
Yeah, I love the fact that we have Jack on staff or on standby to do these skills clinics, because I feel like
to help me out.
One of the main things that we have one of our core goals is to improve our player base, and offering these skills clinics really gives people the opportunity to see, again, behind the curtain with people who have, played at high levels, and kind of understand the game at a whole nother level, to convey that information down to players that have it. I've gotten a ton of good feedback about those, and I'm really stoked about keeping those going. As for open gyms, we've got to be able to break even on those. And so when you're thinking about a court cost, you've got to have a certain number of players for a certain number of time, or else you're not going to be able to cover the cost.
Yeah.
The worst, no matter how awesome it is to have open gym time, we've got to make sure that we're being financially responsible for the rest of the league.
Yeah,
for
One
sure.
thing that is going to be great that we're working on is being able to keep a flat rate that we pay throughout the whole year. Obviously, fall is cheaper than spring, but we don't want to just be constantly, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
You know, to be a little bit more constant. So that's also something we're working on with team cost.
Yep. Then last one to highlight here. Love the double B league. Sometimes the A-level players become frustrated with their B-level teammates, which does not make for a fun time. Friendly reminders of the purpose of the double B league would be appreciated. Smiley face.
Yeah.
So this is all about mindset, right? I mean, double B league was overall a huge success, but it wasn't perfect. And we tried beforehand to message this as consistently and as often as we could, just what the goals actually were. And so hopefully the majority of the B-level players who played up really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can make it so that everyone does in the future. But it's all about mindset of how you work with your teammates and what you go into it with.
Yeah, and again, the double B league is supposed to be a developmental league, and that's kind of what we tried to convey. But we've got people, including myself, who are just naturally competitive. We've got two speeds, off and on.
Yeah.
So I get it, and I've been tossing around ideas about how to make that less competitive, in the sense of like, I got to make sure that we get this number of wins to get a good seed. I'm thinking about like taking playoffs out for double B, just because if it is a true development league, you're not playing it to win, you're playing it to play. So that's certainly not been discussed at all. So
no idea.
It's not the end all, but we put that league in place, and it was well received. We've just got to get the tweaks down right, make sure that we got a certain number of skilled players, and that those people's mindset is to improve player. One of my double B players came to me at the end of the season and told me how thankful he was that he had this, because it gave him the opportunity to learn an entire different position, and he's feeling much more confident about being a value to a team in the A League now. So I've gotten a lot of good feedback. We just got to kind of get it dialed in so that everybody remembers what the point of the whole league is.
One of my guys who played up from C actually put that in our group chat yesterday, saying he really enjoyed it, learned a ton. And it's cool because when you move up, I think part of it is that you don't know what you don't know. And so moving up to double B was a place for a lot of people to kind of figure out that there is maybe a whole nother layer to this game that they didn't realize, and then start working on it.
Yeah, I'd really like to see some setters come up from B and start, because I feel like setters are kind of the linchpin of the teams, and so getting players to, you know, like you guys and myself to say, you know, when we're running this play, I want it like at this angle, or you can kind of put it right in the 3-pipe. You know, those are the types of things that they just don't get exposed to.
Right.
And only when you have like people who have run middle their whole lives, do they actually get exposure to that. So it's a good way to segue more setters up into the A League, and you know, that's critical. I think the health of the league is measured by how well stratified the players are within each of the leagues. And I feel like the B leagues, the B level players are starting to get a little closer to A. And that's really exciting.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, guys, thank you all for taking some time out of your day and Zooming with us. And, you know, keep working on stuff at home. Get a ball in the house.
What are you guys doing to keep your handles?
I've got a ball sitting on the couch that I'll just pick up and just set over my head. I've been watching some stuff from Better at Beach, Mark Burek, about some different drills to do at home. I went and bought a mini trampoline, and so I could set it up on a wall and hit into it. So just – anything.
I was in Nashville for a few days, and I taught my girlfriend how to pepper, and it was actually really good practice, because she got to the point where she was getting the ball back, but I didn't exactly know where it was going to be, and so I worked on some little, you know, knuckles and one-arm things, and I think those are ball control areas where I kind of lack, and so it was good.
When I can talk Sam into peppering, we do, but that's few and far between at times right now. So
yeah.
How do you, Nate? You been squatting any more trucks, or?
So I've been working on, since you don't really get an off season very often. I've been working on strength training mostly. So, you know, just doing body weight exercises. I do have 2 truck tires on the end of a bar.
That looked awesome.
That I squat with. But yeah, just making sure that you get some touches every once in a while is good. And we've got 1,000 outdoor balls. So if anybody needs a ball and wants to stop by and stay 6 feet away from me, I'll open the truck up and we can let you borrow a ball just so you can keep some touches. So just let me know.
So we're asking the people for a name for the Quash the Quarantine quads, if they can do better than that. And
Quash the Quarantine Mania.
Quash the Quarantine Mania. We're asking for any other maybe thoughts on Double B, and we're asking people to register.
Yes.
Register. Get your teams in.
Cool. All right, gentlemen.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Volley, volley, volley.